Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to askNK. Today we're taking a look at BlockBench, and BlockBench is a low poly 3D modeling tool that allows you to create low poly assets that you can use for both games and animation. Of course, there are various tools that can allow you to do this, but BlockBench is an open source free tool that gets you going with creating low poly model. It does have an editor that you can work with alongside the web app just in case you like to build this on the go. And for those who like to take a look at this, you can simply go over to the link in the description. They'll bring you right here where you can take a look and see some of the amazing things that this offers, from low poly modeling all the way to texturing, animation, plugins, and the fact that this is free and open source, which means that you can simply go over to the GitHub, take a look at the codes, and make a clone, an update to this, and also contribute to the development. BlockBench version 5.1.6 was just recently updated, and this looks pretty impressive. So to get started, you can simply click on download, and this is going to bring you over to the download page where you'll be able to download the Windows, Linux, or Mac version. And once you open this up, you can select from the quick setup the key map, the language, and also the theme that you like to work with. Down here, you'd notice that we've got new that has to do with general stuff, which means that you can create generic models that you can use for Godot, Unity, Unreal, Sketchfab, Blender, and for 3D printing, or you can use the image section, as BlockBench also serves as a 2D image editor that lets you create and also edit images right inside of it. We've also got the Minecraft section, which has to do with Java blocks, modded, Optifine, and also Minecraft. And because we're just simply working on models, we can have the generic model selected. And from here, we can simply click on Create New Model, and this pops up a whole new screen. So from this section is where we can define what we want to do. In this case, we'd like to make a simple table. We're going to leave things the way they are. Click on Confirm to have that. This is our viewport where everything that we create exists. We do have our UV section, our texture section exists right here. We've got the transform, we've got the element. We also have our outliner where everything that we work on right here would exist. Around here, we do have different workspaces, and this includes edit, paint, and also animate. Hopefully, we're going to talk about all of that. So first things first, for you to start creating stuff, I recommend you create the group. Double click on that group, change it to something that you like. And the next thing you need to do is to click on the plus sign to add elements. We do have different kinds of elements that we can add. They include the mesh, and the mesh has different shapes, which includes cuboid, beveled cuboid, pyramid, plane, and so on. We're simply going to select cuboid in this case. Click on Confirm to have that. Now, to every of the mesh that you create, you do have parameters that can allow you readjust the mesh however you want. So we can readjust the diameter, and we can also readjust the height. I'm going to move this all the way up for good reasons. Right over here within Add section, we can add other elements. We can add a simple cube, which is just a cube that you cannot necessarily edit. More on this later. If we click on the plus sign, we can also add spines, which is something that we can actually go ahead and make quick edits with in case we're thinking about adding cables and stuff across our scene. We have billboards that we can add, which are basically images. We can add armatures if you're thinking about animating. You can add locators and null objects as well. Now, the difference between the cube and the mesh is this simple, that with the cube, you can only move this cube up and down. You cannot necessarily edit the cube, but with the mesh, you can actually edit the mesh. And how you edit the mesh is very similar to how you edit meshes when you work with various other 3D tools, which means that you can select on the face and perform various operations. Operations like inserting, extruding, and also creating loop cuts. And to each of the loop cuts that you create, you can change the direction that you want and also change the offset. Other things that we can do within the edit section includes creating face on edge, and we can also invert a face. There's also a mirroring section which you can use to mirror various things. And this mirroring happens only within the x-axis. And you can tell the x-axis from the axis widgets that you find here. So if we click on that, this is our x-axis, our y-axis, and also our z-axis. If we just simply click and roll around, we can now go into perspective. And faces are not the only thing that you can select. You also have edges, which means that you can select the edge of any of the model piece that you have and control this however you want. You also have vertices, which you can actually click and select and also move around. For multiple selection, if you hold down shift, you can click and move things around if you want. So if we move this down, because we have mirroring turned on, you can see that also moves down. And if we have this selected, we can also move this down as well. And you can see that. If you like to make multiple selections without holding down shift, if you hold down Control, click and drag, you make a marquee selection, reselect all of the active points, active faces, and active edges that exist with this. And of course, you can now go in and use any of these manipulators to do whatever you want. And this is one of the big differences with what you have with meshes compared to the typical cube that you have right here. So for the table, what we're going to do is to throw in a couple of loop cuts. So I'm just simply going to make about 4 of those, and we'll simply close that. And I'm simply going to rotate the model have the face selected again, select any of the face that would like the loop cut to run through, click on the loop cut one more time, and I'm going to set this to 4, just like we did with the previous one. Click on close to get that out. And now we can simply click by simply holding down Shift or Control on any of the sides and then do a simple extrude. So we can extrude this all the way out. And from here, we do have ourselves a nice looking table. Now with this table done, we can actually go in and create a UV for it. Hold down Control, have all of this selected, and we can simply go over to UVs and do an automatic UV. Of course, you would also notice that the UVs have been done right here, and we can explore all of this from the automatic UV to UV project from view. These UVs are here. So if we go ahead and click on Auto UV, you can see that, and we can also right click within here and choose to connect the UV faces, or we can right click right here and take a look at some of the other options that exist for painting. If we go ahead and switch to the painting section, and we can start painting. Now the cool thing with this is because this offers these tiny pixel like boxes across the model. It makes sense because if you're texturing or even painting, you can now be a bit more intentional on where you're placing individual colors. And if we have textures that we like to use to drive the mesh, we can click on the plus sign to import the texture if we do have one that we like to import. And if we like to just simply create one by ourselves, we can click on create texture, rename this, click on confirm to have that in. And you can see what the UVs look like. And these two will give you more of a visual guide when you start painting. And to start painting is simple. If you click down here, you have various kinds of brush and various brush presets that you can work with. We're simply sticking with the standard brush, selecting a color in this case. And when we start rolling our mouse across, you can see that the painting begins. We can choose to increase the brush size to have more massive area cover when we are painting. If you're thinking about using a fill tool, of course you can select the paint bucket, and with the paint bucket you can select any of the colors that you want. So maybe we like to select the color like so, and you can use this to fill larger areas. You can go in and make some definitions of various parts and also style this however you want. You can also use different shape tools that comes with this to create the kind of visual style that you're going for. I kind of find the shape tool a bit more easier to cover more larger areas than using the brush. The brush will be very nice for styling specific parts. If you like to do the styling by hand, maybe there's a specific pattern that you're going for, that can come in handy, but nothing I think the shape tool cannot really do. Other than that, you can actually go ahead and explore so many of the options that the texturing section actually offers. One other cool feature that is a huge time saver is the mirroring tool. And with the mirroring tool, you can actually go ahead and enable it. And this is going to save you a tremendous amount of time when you texture. Say, for example, you would like to add a color. Let's go ahead and grab something like, maybe you like to add the color right here and maybe add another one right over here. Instead of doing these one after the other, this is going to save you that time and allow you create these things easily and quickly. Now, something else which is also very possible is animating. And if you like to animate this, how you animate is very simple. You can either click on the plus sign right here and add an armature. Now, this is going to be very useful for those who have multiple object parts that they would like to animate. But if you don't have multiple object parts that you like to animate, maybe you just want to animate this object doing its simple transform, you can simply go over to the animate section, click on the plus sign within animation, and from here you can define the animation, click on confirm, and start animating. Now, because we are not binding these two together, which of course you can do by simply clicking on the bone and the mesh, right clicking and calculating the vertex weight. If you go over to the animate section, we can click on the table, click on the plus sign to create keyframes, and we can move the playhead to wherever we want and start animating. In this case, I like the model to travel about that much, and I would like it to have a tiny bit of rotation about this much. And so when we send this all the way back, press the playback button, you can see this in action. And this is pretty nice because at this point we now have animation and we can create as many of these animations as possible. Maybe we'd like to create a scaling animation. Our object travels from one point to another point and simply scales. We can do that. So if our object goes from here over to a point like say here, we can actually just go over to the tiny circle in there and scale the object maybe about that much. These are things that are very possible. So we can just have that. And we can combine various things. And when it comes to exporting, how you export the models are very easy. If you click on File, you can go over to Export and export this as both GLTF, OBJ, FBX, STL, Collada, and of course, you can also send this off to Sketchfab. And it is pretty amazing what you can now do with this. And of course, if you export this, you can bring this into any of the DCC tool of choice and start doing some pretty cool stuff. And by the way, there's also a couple of plugins that exist, and you can simply come through and see these plugins for yourself. So whether you're thinking about creating Minecraft related stuff or you're thinking about working with meshy styled stuff, you would find these ones really useful. Interestingly, there's also a couple of other things that we didn't mention that has to do with animation that is also available with this one. Some timeline stuff are also available right here. You've got some tools, some view stuff, which is also really cool. And this makes sense. If you're working with a huge screen, you can choose to split the screen right here. Within the view section, you also have other things that include snapshot apps. You can record the GIF, see some time lapse, record the time lapse, and also a couple of other nice cool stuff. Within your viewports, you also have some viewport settings, and these are basic stuff that you might want to explore when you get started working with this. And for those who are thinking about exploring various creators' work, or maybe you like to get inspired with things that you can do with BlockBench, if you simply go over to the BlockBench workshop, they do have a lot of things going on right here. So you can come through and explore some of the amazing things that other creators have made. If you'd like to see some of them, you can go over to the browse section, and within the browse section, you can come through and see the free versions of stuff that you can work with. And most of the things here are CC0, so you can simply download them, bring them into your DCC tool of choice, and start using them for both your games and animation. You can see some animated model pieces, some rigged model pieces, and you can simply proceed to explore them within the web page, download them, open them up, and start working with them. A model like this comes with 6 animations which you can use, and of course this also tells you the licensing and a couple of other things that you need to know about this model. So this is it. For those who are thinking about exploring this, maybe you've not heard about BlockBench, or possibly you're thinking about exploring BlockBench for the first time, then you can simply go over to the link in the description and check it out. For those who like to take a look at the GitHub, I'm also going to link this one in the description, so do well to see this for yourself. Tell me what you guys think about this one in the comment section, and until I see you guys in the next one, peace.